In the ancient myths and legends of Norse history, few figures are as enigmatic and unyielding as Hel, the goddess of death and the underworld. Daughter of the trickster god Loki and the fierce giantess Angrboða, Hel was a being of contrasts, a reflection of life and death, joy and sorrow, light and darkness. Her domain was Helheim, a cold and misty realm shrouded in silence and encircled by icy rivers and towering walls. Those who entered her domain did so, not by heroic death in battle, but through illness, old age, or other unremarkable ends. Here the souls of the departed would find rest and reflection. Hel's very appearance was a manifestation of her dual nature. One half of her body was vibrant and alive, glowing with the flush of life, while the other half was decayed, skeletal, a grim reminder of mortality. This stark contrast symbolized her role as a bridge between the realms of the living and the dead, embodying the inevitable connection between life and death. Banished to the underworld by Odin the All-Father, as punishment for her future role of leading an army of the dead against the gods during Ragnarok, causing the start of the end of the world. Hel did not dwell among the gods in Asgard. Instead, she ruled over her own vast and desolate kingdom. Helheim, also known as the World of Darkness or Niflheim, was a landscape of frost and gloom, its frozen rivers glistening under a pale, ethereal light. At the heart of this cold and misty realm stood Elgenir, Hel's grand hall, whose very name, meaning sprayed with misery, spoke of the sorrow that lingered in the air. Helheim was not merely a place of rest for the dead, but also a realm where those who had died dishonorably, humans Vanir and Aesir alike, were sent. Unlike the glorious halls of Valhalla, or the verdant fields of Folkvangar, Helheim was a place of introspection and torment. Those condemned there were haunted by visions of their sins, forced to confront the consequences of their actions in life. Guarding the entrance to Helheim was Garm, a fierce and formidable dog, with blood-streaked fur and glowing eyes. Garm stood as a sentinel, ensuring that none escaped Hel's icy domain, and that the living did not trespass without consequence. Despite the grim reputation of Helheim, the Norse people believed that the dead could sometimes return as ghosts, to convey messages or warnings to the living. These spectral visitations were often seen as significant, and were treated with reverence and caution. Despite the bleakness of her realm, Hel was no mere warden of the dead. She possessed formidable powers that underscored her divine nature. Her strength, speed, and stamina surpassed those of mortals, and even many gods. She commanded absolute control over corpses, skeletons, and spirits, bending them to her will. Through her mastery of black magic and necromancy, she wielded a deadly touch that could snuff out life in an instant. Her cryokinetic abilities allowed her to manipulate ice and cold, and when she chose, she could dissolve into a flurry of snow, vanishing into the frigid winds. One of Hel's most remarkable abilities was her limited telepathy, through which she communicated with her undead warriors. This power enabled her to maintain order within Helheim, ensuring that even in death, the spirits of the departed recognized her dominion. The story of Hel cannot be told without mentioning the tragic tale of Baldr, the god of light and purity. Beloved by all, Baldr was a shining beacon among the gods, until his untimely death at the hands of his blind brother, Hoder, who had been deceived by none other than Loki. Stricken with grief, the gods sought to negotiate with Hel for Baldr's release from Helheim. Hermod, a brave messenger, rode into the depths of Helheim to plead with the goddess. Hel, seated on her throne in Eljodnir, listened to Hermod's earnest entreaty. She agreed to release Baldr, but on one condition: every living being in the world must weep for him. The gods, hopeful and determined, sent messengers far and wide to beseech all creatures to shed tears for Baldr. The world wept. Animals, plants, and even stones wept for the fallen god. But one lone figure, a giantess named Thok, refused. Thok, who was in truth Loki in disguise, declared that Baldr was of no importance to her, and that she would not weep for him. Her refusal sealed Baldr's fate, and he remained in Helheim, his presence a somber reminder of the gods' inability to escape destiny. This event set the stage for Ragnarok, the prophesied end of the world. Through her role in this tale, Hel demonstrated a profound truth. Death is impartial and unyielding. It does not bow to the desires of gods or mortals, nor can it be easily undone. Yet Hel's dominion was not one of cruelty or malice. Instead, she offered a place of rest and reflection for those who had passed beyond the struggles of life. In Helheim, the dead confronted the parts of themselves that they had often avoided in life, their fears, wounds, and hidden truths. The lesson of Hel's existence is one of acceptance. Death comes for all, regardless of status, strength, or valor. It is a natural process, an inescapable part of the cycle of existence. Hel's presence reminds us that life and death are intertwined, and to live fully one must acknowledge and confront the reality of mortality. Moreover, Hel teaches us the importance of facing our hidden fears and unspoken truths. Just as the spirits in Helheim must confront their past, so too must we confront the parts of ourselves that we often seek to bury. Only by doing so can we find peace and understanding. Thus, Hel stands not merely as a goddess of death, but as a guide through the shadowy realms of existence. Her story urges us to embrace the entirety of life's journey, from its vibrant beginnings to its inevitable end, and to find meaning and strength in the face of the unknown.
If you seek wisdom, why not get it from a god? Subscribe to hear more lessons from the gods.